I want to, because there's so many things we talk about Dr. Mutulu. We can do like 3 hours and not even crack the surface. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
right,
Um, I wanted to ask. I wanted to take it back to Tupac since folks, that many the young folks point and utilizing that hip hop vehicle we talked about earlier.
right.
Um, the code of the thug life.
Mm.
I want to if you could share your knowledge of the code of the thug life because of the fact that it's attributed to Pop,
Right.
but if we could kind of dabble on that a little bit as far as what that was about.
Well, there's a video that actually caused a lot of controversy, but it's online. It's online. It's on YouTube. I think it might be called Cocaine City or something. And
Mm,
somebody took some footage from Mutulu and this brother who's deceased now, Chaz Williams,
okay.
having a conversation. So I just, people want to know my sources.
Right on. Right on.
But this is a source independent from what I was told. Okay, but actually, Mutulu was trying to come up with, again, I said, working with Sonny Carson, how can we unite the forces on the streets? How can we bring more unity in the community? And so, and he's in prison,
Right.
right, at this point. And Mutulu always kept the peace. But I think he was also saying, okay, he understands that everybody ain't at the same level of consciousness and don't have the same code that he's been operating by. So how can we come up with something that's going to bring more unity? And if we can get the shot callers in here to agree to it, we could take it out to the shot callers out there. So
Right.
they met with different folks who were in the federal system in particular, and they got some agreements. Pac was very popular at that time.
Right.
Pac was still alive. And so, and Pac had begun to talk about thug life, which, I forgot which, I think it's Thug Angel,
Mhm.
who was on there, and he talks about, I was the same way when I first heard about thug life. What the hell are you talking about?
Right. Right. Right.
But Pac was trying to flip the whole thug piece on his head, and he, defined it really more like the people who've been abused, been oppressed, been ignored by this system and by, even black elite folk, you
Right.
know, those are the thugs, and so Mutulu, understanding that, he has a conversation with Pac and presents the code and asks Pac to promote it. They put Pac's name on it
Right.
to help promote it and get it out there because, again, he's so damn popular.
That's
You
right.
know, no, I'm just thinking nobody could have foresaw how popular he became. Like I had some preachers say he's more popular than Jesus, but preachers said that.
In some areas, right?
Yeah. So, but
Right.
anyway, and Pac helped promote it, use his name, help promote it, and get it out there. I know he did a few rallies around it in New York, in Brooklyn, and they just tried to promote it. And again, the whole thrust is to bring more unity. I remember at the time, I had a comrade write me, and he was saying, because some of the things in it is like, well, we don't want a drug sold to pregnant women.
Right.
And so I remember, so some people might say, well, damn, we don't want to sell drugs at all. But the reality is we got some people out there selling drugs. So how can we
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
them in? So how can we bring it where it's not as chaotic in our community? We got people out here just shooting gangster wild, right?
Right.
And so how can we rein some of that in and make it so that our elders feel like they can walk the street safe?
Right.
That we could feel like our children are safe going to school and coming back home. And so it was like a tactical thing. And then we work on politically educating and transforming our community and creating economic things, as well as we try to transform this system. And that was one of the major things I think I got from working with them brothers too when we were going in the penitentiary. A lot of them said, man, the stuff we learning now, I should have learned before I got here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm glad you pointed that out because people deal with absolutes, and there are no absolutes. And the reality is, if you're going to be an organizer, just like you mentioned Jesus church and everything, you have to speak the language of the people. You have to meet the people where you at. You know what I'm saying? And as Yui talked about, people learning through observation and participation. You know, you spoke about how you went in first, and they was like thinking that you thought they was some suckers because you speaking a language like and I'm just just giving some wild thoughts. Look, we need to do this and so on and so forth. And it's like, look, this is where we are.
Right.
This is where you move from. And that is the importance of folks like when you talk about leadership, folks like Captain John Huggins and Bunchy Carter being able to reach the people. If they're in the streets, if they're in the strip club, then that's where you go. You understand what I'm saying? People always talk about, well, you preaching to the choir. The choirs don't always know the sermon. They're there to sing. You know what I'm saying? And some of the folks in the choir,
right,
they might have been drafted just to do that.
right.
So when we talk about movement, we have to be able to figure out what level of communication we're on, what frequency we're on. It's just like radio or whatever. You got to tune in, you got to tap in, and it's a science, and it's brilliant for someone like Dr. Mutulu Shakur. He's in prison. So if you're going to teach the brothers and sisters, because of the fact I'm sure the information traveled, if you're going to teach them, then you have to be able to reach them.